The pathway to what you want is always different than what you expected, but that can only come through surrendering and allowing yourself to be guided.
Welcome to the Real on Manifestation podcast. This podcast bridges the gap between mystical and practical, making manifestation real, accessible, and achievable so you are an embodied energetic match to actualize everything you desire. I'm Minerva, your manifestation coach and host, and I've manifested every single thing I have ever wanted, from dream homes, new levels of income, trips, clients, businesses, TV gigs, relationships, as well as winning jackpots and contests. But it's not about the tangible manifestations for me. It's about how you feel and who you be on the way to there. With 3 businesses, 2 kids, and marriage to my childhood sweetheart, one of my proudest manifestations is feeling balanced, spacious, and free in my ever-expanding reality. Creating and maintaining your dream life doesn't have to take force, but ease, and I'm excited to guide you through yours. In this space, you'll receive expert insights and proven tools and strategies you can apply immediately to start manifesting everything you ever want. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode. Today, what we're going to talk about is how to stop being a control freak and start surrendering more. This is important because your controlling tendencies, as much as it has served you to create the business and life that you have, to get things done, you are a dreamer, you are a doer. You want something, you go after it, you make it happen. You know you're a co-creator and you've created some incredible things in your life. But that controlling aspect is holding you back from receiving that next level and more that you want. Okay, so how do you stop that control freak tendency and start surrendering more? I'm going to walk through a little bit more how this control freak tendency shows up, how to surrender more, and why you want to do that. And I'll give you practical steps. So at the end of this episode, you can soften into the surrender part of you. You can soften into your feminine and overall deepen more into your true power, the power that's going to create more of what you want. Have your partner be more of what you want to be. Call in your partner, bring in the clients and the money, and create that business and life that you want. Okay. So I get it. I'm a control freak. It took me a long time to figure that one out. And, that comes naturally because we are female entrepreneurs. And when we're entrepreneurs, we have this vision, we have this dream, we go after it, and we've created something from nothing. We created a whole business, a whole company from scratch. I've created 2 companies right now, and I've had multiple companies in the past as well. And it all came just from a vision, from a feeling, from a desire. And we created that. I created that. And so that tendency and that aspect of ourselves where we have that dream, when we have that feeling, when we have that desire, and then we move into doing, which is in the masculine, and we use our mind, we use logic to make things happen, we take action to make things happen and bring it to life, to manifest it, that has served us well. But here's the problem with this, because we have a lot of evidence of putting our hands in the pot and baking a cake out of scratch. There's a high, there's a pride, and so many people have benefited from that. But here's what happens, that after a while, as female entrepreneurs, we tip the scale out of balance. We go too much into the doing aspect of it and controlling of all the aspects of the business, all the aspects of our home life. We end up being the manager in not only our business, but in our relationships, in our parenting, in the way the home is run. And that controlling tendency doesn't just stop in the business, but it overflows into your personal relationships, in your money, and also in your health as well. So I do believe that how you do one thing is how you do everything. And that tendency does overflow. And like I said, as much as it has many benefits to it and it has served you, when we do too much of anything, it tips the scale out of balance, right? So today I want to show you how to rebalance that scale and ultimately help you step more into your divine feminine and step into more of that surrendering energy, because it's in that surrendering, it's in that letting go, it's in that not feeling we have to have our hands all up in everything, whether it's in our relationships, in our money, in our health, in our business. With that letting go and taking your hands out of the pot, there's gonna be some healing, there's gonna be some re-regulation we need to do in that, because I understand that's gonna feel a little like, "What do I do?" Like, this is gonna feel so foreign. I'm gonna walk you through that today. But once we do that, this is the space and where the magic unfolds. This is where the clients that you want is going to come in, where the ideas and the creativity is going to flow, where you can soften, when you can relax, when you can start enjoying more of what you have created and start receiving more of what you desire, receiving more abundance and wealth and peace and clients and money, and receive the ideas that's going to lead to greater impact. So, this is why we want to take our hands out of the pot and start shifting our energy, bringing more consciousness from when we're in our control tendencies, and start reprogramming ourselves and rebalancing ourselves to be in our power, to be in our feminine through surrendering. Let's get right into it, because I feel like the surrender piece is the missing piece. Okay. So, as female entrepreneurs, as business owners, we have proof. No matter where you are in your business, we have proof that we can create. We all have proof, whether you have a business or not, we all have proof that we have created, that we can manifest, because our exact reality right here, right now, is direct evidence that you are a manifester, that you can create, that you can do, you can think, you can feel, you can bring a vision into life, right? So whether it's something you want or not, it all started with a vision, it all started with a desire, and you brought that to life. So this surrender piece is so important as female entrepreneurs, and I believe will make us much more powerful, much more impactful, much more magnetic when we can now soften and shift our energy from control, from the masculine into the feminine. And the masculine does have a place within us. So when I talk about masculine and feminine energies, it doesn't matter if you're male or female, it's an energy, it's like the yin and yang of your body, of your energetic field. Okay, your energetic body. And so the masculine is tends to be on the right side, and that's about logic. That's about doing. That's about being grounded, being centered, having direction, having purpose, manifesting, bringing it to life, bringing the idea, bringing that desire to life. And that's about giving. And then the feminine is about receiving. It's about feeling. It's about intuition, creativity. It's about creating, right? So creating and having the vision is the visionary, it's the feeling, it's a desire. And then the masculine is what helps support that with aligned actions, with the decision making, with the aligned thinking, and doing what it needs to do to manifest and bring it to life. So what happens is we're too much in the masculine as entrepreneurs. And this is when you know you're too much in there, things feel like they're at a halt. Things start to feel like, okay, I keep creating the same thing. What's next? It feels like you have hit a ceiling. Is because you're still thinking the same way, you're acting the same way. The way you lead yourself is very much in the masculine tendency, in the masculine role. You may say, yes, you bring in some of the feminine, you have the desire, you have the vision, you feel into it, you use your intuition, you use your creativity. But after a while, you still go back and you jump back to that tendency of, this is what I want. What am I going to do? How am I going to think? I'm going to take action. I'm going to make things happen. I'm going to hire the right people. You're very focused. You're very driven. You have the vision. You keep going that direction. But we underwork the feminine side, and we forget to let go and lean into the feminine surrender side of us. When we can learn to surrender and soften in that, it's going to be uncomfortable. I'm going to take you through an exercise to this. When we learn how to surrender, this is where things, after a while, it's kind of like an ocean when it's like really rough. But once you allow it to flow and be, at some point, it's going to come back and settle into place. And that's kind of how I envision the masculine and feminine. And if you're feeling like that overwhelm in the mind and a lot to do, and your body's on a treadmill, even when you're going to sleep or when you wake up, you jump back on the treadmill, that's a sign that you're too much in the masculine and we need to start redistributing that energy and allow things to balance out and lean into the feminine a bit more because the feminine is your magic. Your feminine is your true power. And that's what's actually going to take things bigger and greater to the next level. How do you start surrendering if you are a control freak? Have your pen and papers out. I'm going to walk you through 5 steps. Number 1 is bring awareness to all the areas in your life and times that come to mind where you feel like you have to control the outcomes, where you feel like you have to be in the mix for it to work, where you're telling yourself, yeah, but I have to do it. My employee doesn't know how to do this. Is this something I have to do? Or you hand it off to someone and you're overlooking and you're micromanaging, or it's on your mind a lot. Or you leave the kids with your husband for a day or a weekend and you have to leave a huge to-do list and you're checking in. Or I used to do this myself, but maybe it still creeps up some days, but I catch myself is that I used to control myself, not just the outcomes, but control myself to be perfect and think a certain way and have my routine down, my morning routine, my meditation routine, my affirmations, my workout, and make sure I'm in the proper mind space and all of that, which is obviously very helpful. But the way I was doing it is very much trying to control myself so that I can control what happens to me, that I can control the outcomes and control it to be something I want it to be. So if I control myself and quote unquote fix my mind, fix my energy, fix my heart, fix and do all the right things and be perfect, then that will naturally equate to the outcomes being perfect. Big ol' X. It doesn't happen that way, right? And yes, you can manifest in that way. You can manifest in any way, like I talk about, but it's how we are manifesting. How are we enjoying the outcomes that do come to us? How enjoyable is it when it does manifest? Are you going to be burnt out? Are you going to be like, okay, so what? It's here. It's not as big and fulfilling as I thought it would be. It's because of who we were being on the way and during the journey of manifesting the thing we wanted to manifest. And so when it came, it lacks that luster. I was controlling myself, trying to be perfect for the outcomes. But when I relaxed into that, when I caught myself and start relaxing into that and realized I don't need to be perfect, I don't have to be on top of everything. I've actually done enough. I actually am enough. I have a lot within me. And a big proof for me was like, even when I didn't have my messaging perfect, even when I didn't have my mindset perfect, my weight perfect, my look perfect, my messaging perfect, all of that, I still manifested. Like I still created a business. I still created clients. I still had money coming in. I was still making an impact. Right. So that was something where I started questioning myself in a good way and challenging my own belief systems around that I didn't need to be perfect. I didn't have to control everything for good things to happen to me. Okay. So take a look at the areas of your life and all the times that come up. I like listing things out. I'm a list gal where you feel like you have to control, where you feel like you have to be in the mix and have your eyes and your hands and your heart and your body in it for it to work out. What is that? Is it money? Is it your relationship? Is it home? Is it with your child rearing? Is it in your business? Is it in your health? That's another thing. I've shared that in my journey healing my eczema, there was a lot of like trying to get it right. And I have that personality and tendency of like, give me the list and I will do it. And I will take all the supplements, I will do everything and trying to like be so rigid and be perfect with it. And that could be so overwhelming. It's like controlling myself. So I had this outcome of healing my eczema. And so it wasn't until like I really started stepping back. This has been 3, 4 years. I've had it my entire life, but after having my second, it really flared up and I've been on a journey and had seen progress, but also the stress and me trying to control myself was adding more stress to it and making it worse. Or I'll be like, how come it's not just fully going away when I'm doing all the quote unquote right things, right? And so that same thing in my business. How come business is not where I expect it to be when I'm doing all the right things? It's because of this control. It's because of trying to get it right. It's trying to be perfect. It's so that I can have the outcomes, the healing, the money, the impact, the clients, so I can have all the outcomes that I want to have. And it just doesn't work like that. It limits you. It limits what comes in. And yes, it can come in, but it limits what comes in. It limits not just the amount of what comes in, but it limits how you feel when it does come in. And it limits you creating it again because you're going to be burnt out and exhausted. And who wants to do that, right? That's not in your divine power. That's not in your feminine. So list all the ways and all the areas or times where you find yourself trying to control everything, control the outcomes. List that out. So that's number one. Number two is, how would it feel if you did give up control in those areas? How would it feel if you gave up control in those areas? How would it feel if you were going away for a night or a weekend with the girls and you didn't have to leave a list for your husband? How would it feel if you didn't have to micromanage your team members? How would it feel if you didn't feel like you have to be so rigid and perfect on your health routine so that you can reach your weight goals or your skin goals or whatever your goal is? How would it feel if you didn't feel like you had to have the perfect curated business and have post 3 times a week and do the weekly podcast, the weekly newsletters? How would it feel if you didn't have to do all the things you're telling yourself you have to do? How would it feel? It's going to feel uncomfortable. I want it to feel uncomfortable. And the second part of this, within this, is that when this comes up, I want you to sit in that discomfort. This is an important part. If you want to start shifting out of control freak syndrome into surrender, we need to start sitting and facing that feeling, sitting in the discomfort, because the only way over it is through it. Okay? And so sit in that. I want you to then ask yourself, when did this start getting uncomfortable? To just surrender, to let things be, to not know what's going to happen next. Where did this come from? Who taught you this? What taught you this? That it's not safe to surrender and let things flow and to be open and to receive. When did we pick up that message that it's not safe to receive? It's not safe to surrender and soften and just go with the flow. And list what comes up there. There'll be some memories, there may be some people, there may be particular instances that come to mind where it wasn't safe. Did your wedding day not go according to plan? Did a birthday party didn't go according to plan? Did your birth story when you gave birth didn't go according to plan? When did surrendering become scary? When you didn't have control of something become scary? What do you think that said about you? What were you making this mean about you? Some extra questions here. Now, whatever comes up here, it's so important to take the time when you are ready, because this may bring up some like trauma and stress for you, right? And so it is important, though, that at some point with the right support, you heal that moment in time so that you stop recreating that. So you can stop this behavior and stop this tendency at the core so that it does become easier to surrender, to release, to flow, and then to receive what it is you want to receive. Because in the balance of life, in the balance of manifestation, you give and you receive. It does also take you relinquishing and opening up and receiving and going with the flow and things being different. And the pathway to what you want is always different than what you expected, but that can only come through surrendering and allowing yourself to be guided and flowing. So it's important to heal that moment in time and get to the core of that belief or that feeling and process that feeling. And I have a one-on-one session called Blow Shit Up, where we get to the real core and the root of that to relinquish that so that you are free from that knot. You're free from that belief. So I'll leave the link in the details below. But we want to make sure we get to that point, that root of what made us become such control freaks. Okay? Very important. So where did that come from? Who taught you this, that it's not safe to surrender? Where did you feel like you had to start getting in control? and take care of things, where you stop trusting the best is happening. You stop trusting flow. You stop trusting what you're receiving. So, wait, let me just get up in the mix and control X, Y, and Z and all the ingredients and all the things in place so that I can have the outcomes that I want. It's only going to serve you for so long. It's only going to serve you to a certain point. And then you're going to hit a wall over and over again. You can't go past that because that past point requires you to trust, to heal, to surrender, to open up and deepen into that aspect of your being. Number 4, if you were to surrender, what is the worst thing that can happen? If you were to give up control, what's the worst thing that can happen? The kids go to bed late. Your husband may struggle with the routine or what to do next, or put different shoes on the kids. I don't know, something like that. What's the worst that can happen? And if it did happen, what could you do from a place of surrender, from flow, from your feminine, from your power? Sometimes we also build up. It's not the actual event that is scary that we're telling ourselves. It's how we think we're going to feel. It's the build up of it. It's the way we think about it that's harder. It's the feelings of anxiety. It's the feelings of disappointment. It's the feelings that we're actually more afraid of versus the actual event. I know you're saying, well, it's the actual event is what I'm afraid of because it doesn't make me feel that way. But the event hasn't even happened yet, right? So we start spiraling and going into this place, avoiding this feeling and thinking we can't handle it. And if it does happen, you can deal with disappointment. You can deal with a little chaos. Actually, in the space of chaos is where creativity is birthed, right? When we relinquish and let go of things being perfect and controlled and predictable, so much magic can unfold in that as well. You start pulling your strength and your light becomes brighter if you allow yourself to sit in that uncomfortable space. Okay, so what would you do, or what could you do, but from a place of power and surrender? So if you want to play out certain things, how can you approach your business, your employees, your partner, your health from a place of surrender, from a place of your true divine power, from your feminine, from flow? And you're going to notice experience of that. After a while, you keep asking yourself that or sitting in that energy, you could just feel it. It shifts your experience within yourself. It shifts how you feel. And if you choose to think and do differently from that place, it shifts who you are being and how you show up. So my final step for you is, which one is more valuable to you? Ultimately, who do you want to be? What state do you want to be coming from? Do you want to be coming from this controlled, wounded place, this imbalanced place? You want to keep going down this route where it feels like everything's on your shoulders. It's not going to get done right. It's all on you. You need to be up. You need to be in it in order for it to be perfect. You can continue that way. It will be a different experience. It will be a different outcome. You can manifest that way, but you're going to hit a wall. You're going to be exhausted. You're not going to be happy in the long run. Something's going to have to give. Or do you want to choose to start leaning in and start rebalancing because you created so much? You know you can do it. You know you can think. That's never been your issue. You will carry out, you will create, you will think, you'll make decisions, you'll mess up, you'll do it again, you'll take action. That part of you works, okay? You're driven, you're passionate, you have purpose, you are logical, you can make decisions, you can take action, you can give. That's never been your issue. It's the feminine part of relaxing, receiving, flowing, feeling, diving into that space, because that's where creativity is birthed, more ideas is birthed, your power is unleashed. That's where you're more magnetic. And that at some point has become scary and not safe and just not practiced. But this is where you can now amplify your power even more if you allow yourself to go in this space, to shift into your feminine, shift into your power, and sink into that open space. So those are my 5 steps for you to start shifting out of control freak energy into surrender, into your feminine, into your power. And I understand this will take some work. This will take some time. These 5 steps are really good. Just apply it. You work it, it'll work. I promise you. You feel a shift. It will bring awareness. And if you just take one thing away from this, is just bring awareness and catch yourself just when those controlling tendencies have shown up in your business, in your relationships, in your parenting, whatever it is, in your health. Just bring awareness to when that control freak energy shows up. And then you can just make a conscious choice of, ooh, I want to become more soft and open and receptive and magnetic. And that will only come from being in your feminine, mastering your feminine. And that's what I'm here for. So if you want to dive deep and you would love support around this, start with my Blow It Up session. I'll leave the link below. It's just a one-time session. We're going to go deep and get to the blocks and unlock that block. And if you want to go further and explore working one-on-one, just you and me, we go deep and we clear up and help you become a fully embodied, successful woman, not just on the outside, but in the inside, and work through all of that stuff and become empowered inside out, then I'm your girl and I would love to talk to you. Just DM me and we can get started that way. But until then, thank you all for listening and I hope to see you next time.